Hey folks, David Stewart here. Hope you guys are having a great day. Let's talk about the menu. Yes, it's time for a movie review. This is a movie which I am going to recommend, but which I did not enjoy. If you're wondering how that works, I will explain. Before I get to that, King Leper. Those of you who backed the Kickstarter, I want to keep you appraised on what's going on. It looks very nice. Many of you will already have this on the way to you. If you haven't filled out your survey, please fill out your survey on Kickstarter so I can mail you your copy of your book if you got a physical book. I think it looks great. If you missed out on the Kickstarter, no big deal. It'll be out on Amazon this summer and you can grab yourself a copy. Now, on to the movie review. By the way, do join my Patreon down below. You can get a free book every month. Or you can find all my books on Amazon. Yes. Okay, the menu. This is a movie I'm recommending, and the reason I'm recommending it is an original piece of cinema. It's an original story with an original message being told in an original way, and in fact, there's a lot of really good things to like about it. The production quality is very high, great score, good acting. The reason I didn't enjoy it, though, is because I think it has a very pretentious anti-audience and anti-patron message, which kind of felt gross to me, even though it did resonate with me as an artist. And I just think it's poorly executed. I don't think it's successful at what it's actually trying to do. I don't want to spend the entire time like crapping on this movie, but I do want to talk about the themes that are there, because this is where I think the weight of the movie is, and kind of where this line between recommendation, I'm recommending it even though I didn't enjoy what they were doing thematically, this is where the weight of the movie is. So it's a movie about a celebrity chef with this restaurant on an island, and there's a bunch of foodies that are going to go to this restaurant. And the setup, not to break too many spoilers, is everybody's going to get murdered by the chef and the staff here. The thing about this movie is that the food is not the food. The food and the restaurant and the patrons in the restaurant are really a symbolic layer for the artist and the people who support the art, the people who consume the art like it's food, the people who patronize the art, who allow the artist to work, and their relationship with that artist. The reason that I feel like the themes feel gross, they feel very out of touch, they feel pretentious, kind of like the celebrities singing during the pandemic, singing the atheist John Lennon song, just disconnected from the realities of what they are kind of talking down to, right? So you have this cast of characters, and all the characters represent different sorts of artistic patrons and audience members. The first one we really meet is this foodie. He's obsessed with this celebrity chef. He knows every little technical detail about what he's doing. He knows about the food. He can guess what the chef is trying to do when he presents each weird dish, and he loves every minute of it, but he himself cannot cook. So what is this? This is the mega fan, right? This is the artistic mega fan, the person who loves everything about what that person does and can tell you all the technical ins and outs of what that artist is doing, but they aren't an artist themselves and can't really evaluate the art or produce art on their own. And thus it's sort of a dead exercise in celebrity worship. That's this guy. And we find out later in the movie that he decided to come even though he knew the chef told him that he was going to. Basically, everybody was going to end up dead by the end of the night. And he still came anyway because of what a mega fan he is. So that's what he represents. He hires a literal prostitute to come with him. That's Anya Taylor-Joy. I'm starting to understand why so many younger people like this actress. She has a really good screen presence. And in this movie, that's no exception. I think she does a really good job with her part. This literal prostitute is immediately identified by the chef and the restaurant staff as being one of them, thus classifying the artist as a kind of prostitute. The artist is prostituting themselves. They're bearing their soul. They're doing this important art for people who don't really appreciate it and are really paying for it in a transactional kind of way. They're performing what should be a spiritual service for kind of a base transactional relationship, which is like what prostitutes are. So we have this cast of like the chefs and the prostitute as being the same. They're the artists prostituting themselves for the audience. You have a rich benefactor who, of course, is cheating on his wife. He cares nothing for the food. He's just there. He's along for the ride. He's there, baby, for the status. He's there out of habit. He's there because he's just involved in the status of being part of this expensive restaurant. and his wife is there too. She doesn't really care about the food. She more cares about the continuing the rich benefactor relationship there. There's a couple of businessmen, and these businessmen work for the guy who owns the restaurant. And so they feel like they own the artist, and they can boss the artist around. They could tell the chef what they want. They could tell the chef how to change the dishes. There's this dish that comes out that it's like bread condiments with no bread. And they're like, give us some bread. Like we are in charge of you because we work for the guy who owns the restaurant, and we're telling you, we want bread. You need to give us bread. So they represent the executive class in Hollywood that is telling artists what they want to do, even though it may be a bad idea, or they're not understanding the art, or they feel like they own the artist. The artist is a slave. It's a prostitute to them, and they can tell the artist whatever they want. There's a food critic, right? And the food critic is, of course, the movie critic. That's me, right? I'm a movie critic in this circumstance as well. And the movie critic only cares about ripping the art apart. They do not care about enjoying it for what it is. They do not care about experiencing the art. They only look at every, this is a food critic, so she looks at every food dish as an opportunity to criticize, to rip it apart, to find the flaws, to break it down into its pieces, and not really to look at it as a holistic whole. This, of course, represents movie critics on YouTube and elsewhere, of which I am one, right? So next to her is a sycophantic hanger-on who believes every word that she says and thinks that she's a genius for being this critic, even though she doesn't cook, right? Just like how YouTube critics don't make movies, and most of them don't make art. Now, I do write books, which you'll be able to get it on Amazon later. And you should join my Patreon. You can get a free book every month. My art, right? Most of them aren't artists. They have no concept of art. Rather, they are entirely excited about the attention that they get for ripping apart the artist's work. And the sycophant is like the audience for the critic that loves the critic more than they love the medium that they're criticizing, right? They love what the critic has to say more than they love the movies. I'm sure you guys have experienced this and seen this on YouTube and elsewhere. People maybe who love Roger Ebert more than they love the movies. That might be an old way to look at it, but I could certainly see it with modern YouTubers, that people love that YouTuber more than they love the movies that the YouTuber is criticizing. That could be part of it. You have a washed up actor. He just cares about the being in the restaurant to try to raise his profile in order to get attention back for his flagging career, right? He's obsessed with social media. We can find the easy connections there. He has an assistant, and this is where I think some people have made a mistake in understanding this movie and thinking that it's about eat the rich class stuff. It's not about that. It's about the artist and the audience and the patrons, because there's a point where like the chef reveals that he's going to kill everyone, and she goes, even me? And he's like, where did you go to school? And she's like, Brown. He goes, you will die, right? Because Brown is apparently a school that costs a lot of money. So thus he's not in the worker, artist, prostitute class. She's in the abuser class, right? So that's kind of our cast of characters. The protagonist, I guess you would say, is the prostitute, played by Anya Taylor-Joy. We have Ralph Fiennes, who is the chef, and he does a great job. He has an amazing screen presence. He really sells the part. He's definitely one of the strongest points of this movie in terms of its execution, is his ability to portray this character. Now, the weaker parts with all of that, going through all of those themes, you can see why that anti-audience message can feel a little bit disconnected. To have an artist make art about how they don't like the audience or don't like the people they have to deal with in the art world, that can feel pretentious. I know for years Rush didn't want to play the song Limelight because it felt like, we can't just, because the audience, we can't talk about our struggles as these super successful artists. That's just not, it doesn't feel right. And that's the disconnect that we get with the themes. Now, in terms of execution, this is a movie that was billed, to me at least, when I first started watching it, I had no idea. I just clicked on it and started watching it. It was on, I don't know, some streaming platform. And I'm like, this is kind of weird. Is this supposed to be a horror movie? And then afterwards, people were like, no, it's supposed to be a dark comedy. Well, I didn't laugh once. It's not funny at all. And it's not scary either. So in terms of what it's trying to do to affect the audience, outside of those themes, it's just not very functional. It's not scary. It's not funny. It just doesn't work on any of those levels. It only really works as an artistic piece about art. There's lots of individual parts of this movie that I think are good. The photography is really good. So the cinematographer, Peter Deming, does a fantastic job shooting this. The sets are really good. The director, Mark Mylod, does a really great job taking a few sets and using them to their maximum efficacy in terms of the visuals that are there. The score is really brilliant. Who did the score? Colin Stetson did the score. Really great score. A great mixture of like solo violin stuff that you would associate with like high level art, and then a lot of other textural stuff that gets mixed in there. It's a very effective score, though not particularly memorable. It's not like a John Williams score where you're going to be humming it or anything like that. Rather, it's a score that fits with the theme of the movie and fits with the style of the movie and fits with the messaging of the movie, and really infuses it with a great extra layer. So there's a lot of great technical things about the movie. Those things still did not completely make up for the other failings. So if you're going to pick a weak part out, it's actually going to be the script. The script, the dialogue just feels very melodramatic. It's too on the nose. It's too opaque, I guess. It's too obvious. And as a result, there's just no subtlety to it. There's no humor to it. We get very quickly what's going on. The characters don't act, in most cases, they don't act in any kind of logical or consistent manner. They act in the way that allows the filmmakers to tell the thematic story that they're trying to tell. There's even a part where, like at the end, they kill everybody by encasing them in s'mores. Why s'mores? Because s'mores are like the worst, most disgusting dessert ever. They're fit for, it's like a campfire dessert that you do out of leftover garbage, right? And so it's basically telling the audience that they're garbage and they like garbage and they're going to blow them up. It's just a nasty message. It's a nasty message to the whole thing. So that's the reason that I think I don't end up enjoying it, is that it just doesn't successfully be a comedy. It doesn't fit in as a horror movie. It fits in as message fiction, and that message does resonate with me a bit as an artist, especially if you've read things like Afterglow Generation Y, which I have behind me somewhere, but you can find it on Amazon. I have a piece there called the PC Garden. That's about people just really wanting to be seen as appreciators of art, even if they don't understand the art. Even when the art is complete garbage, they will pretend they like and understand the art, just like the Emperor Has No Clothes, because they're interested in the status that gets associated with being an art appreciator. We have elements of that. All this stuff makes a lot of sense to me as an artist, but I feel like it's disconnected from the experience of the audience and is in fact hostile to the audience. And maybe if you watch it, you'll get some of that. It's still... I think it's worthwhile watching it, even for those sort of disconnected themes and for the technical quality of the cinematography and the score, and the acting as well. I think it does a really good job. The whole thing wraps up, by the way, with the chef getting excited to make a hamburger, right? So the Anya Taylor-Joy character, she asks for a hamburger and the chef is very excited to give her a hamburger because she wants an authentic experience. She just wants something that tastes good, that meets her expectations, right? She wants well done genre fiction, maybe, that's not slop. And that's what he gives her. He gives her a really good hamburger. And you see kind of at the end of the movie, she's like eating the hamburger while watching everybody die. And that's really another piece of messaging that kind of resonates with me. Is like, you get excited to give people something that they are really going to want and really going to enjoy, rather than a bunch of people pretending to like and enjoy something because of the externalities which might give them some benefit, either ripping it apart as a critic or pretending to like it for some social media clout, liking it because it's part of your social class, all that kind of stuff. You get this good little contrast with the themes. So even though I think that they are anti-audience, they resonated with me, and that's why I'm going to end up recommending the movie, I suppose, even though I didn't really enjoy the experience overall. I like thinking about the movie, I guess. So anyway, leave your thoughts down below. I would love to read them. And if you missed out on the Kickstarter for King Leopard, don't worry. It's going to be out on Amazon soon. I will see you all next time, and have a great, great day.